Hi everybody, it's Courtney, and today I am going to be creating a clean and simple card using the Do Re Meow stamp set. And we're going to be creating a scene, but yet it's still going to be a clean and simple card. So I'm going to start with my T-square ruler here and a pencil, and I'm just drawing very light pencil lines to kind of mark out where my little scene will be so that I know where I need to be stamping my images. I'm going to go ahead and start by stamping. Well, I inked up my little light post here, but ended up stamping that second. First, I am going to stamp out this little fence off to the left-hand side, and I am using a piece of Gina K masking magic paper. You can really use anything, and my masks are not perfect and not even fully cut. I only cut out the areas that I actually need to be masked. I'm not doing any ink blending in the background. I'm going to be doing all Copic coloring, so my masks do not need to be perfect. So once that mask was laid down, I'm going to go ahead and stamp out this little light post here, and this way it'll look as if it's behind that fence. I'm going to be using two of the cat images from the stamp set, and these kind of reminded me of my cats. The first one here is kind of the lazy one that's sitting down and caroling, and that would definitely be my Macy. And I did mask this one out, but I didn't end up needing to because I didn't stamp anything directly over it. There is this little box that is in the stamp set as well. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that out. And this other little cat that reminds me of my Frankie, who is standing tall and trying to be center of attention, will be standing on this little box. So once all of my images were stamped out, and by the way, I am stamping with blackout ink by Ink on 3 because it's a Copic safe ink, and I'm using a piece of Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. Going to go ahead and remove my masks now, and I started erasing my pencil lines, but then realized I need to kind of be able to see them. So I'm going to take two pieces of Post-it note tape, and I'm going to line these up just slightly above and below these pencil lines, and then I can go ahead and erase them completely. Once you color over pencil lines, you will not be able to erase them, so you want to make sure that you erase those before you start your coloring. So for my little scene here, I am going to just take my C1 marker, and I'm just going to kind of map out where my snow is going to begin and where it's going to end. And then I'm going to take my BG72, and you can use any light blue or light purple here just to add a little bit of color to the snow rather than it just being gray. And I'm just going to start flicking this up from the very bottom portion of my little scene here. And I'm using it pretty sparingly. I'm going to go directly over it with my C3 to kind of tone it down. Well, I guess not tone it down, but kind of gray it up a little bit. But we still have a little bit of that color showing. Just going to flick that color up a little bit, and then I'm going to go on to the C1 and flick that up even further. And I'm going to kind of fade off to white here for the rest of my snow. So for my sky, I want this to be a night scene. So I'm going to use my B90 markers. And you'll notice throughout the entire card, I'm only using a 3-color blend. I typically do 4, but in this case, I'm only going to do 3. I'm going to start off with my lightest of the B90 markers, which is the B95. And all I'm doing here is kind of mapping out where my darkest part of the sky would be, which would be towards the bottom. And this way it will saturate the paper a little bit. And the more the paper is saturated, the better your colors are going to blend. I'm getting pretty close to the images, but I'm not too worried about getting right up next to them until I go in with my darkest color, especially being we're adding a ton of ink here. So if I go right in next to my images with that lightest color and then my darkest color, I risk it bleeding into my images. And the B99 is super dark. As you guys can see, this is a very dark navy blue. And if this color were to bleed onto my images, it would be very difficult to cover up or take away, depending on what color your images are going to be colored. So I'm just going to kind of outline those images now and kind of flick up my color a little bit with that B99. And then I'm going to bring in my B97, and I'm going to flick that color up a little bit further. And again, I'm getting right up next to my images here. and then flicking that color up in those kind of wide open spaces, I can use the flicking motion. Now, there is little spaces between the fence, and at this point, I wasn't really sure how I was going to color that. So you may want to keep your sky markers out, whatever colors you use for your sky, leave them out, because more than likely, once your coloring gets going and you finish up your coloring, there's probably going to be some spaces that you need to go back to kind of fill in little tiny areas. So I'm going to finish off with the B95, and you can see that I'm going right up to that Post-it note tape, and I know that my colors are going to bleed through it. The alcohol markers are going to bleed through almost anything. You see what it does to cardstock. So a thin piece of Post-it note tape, I know that it's going to bleed a little bit, so I'm not oversaturating it right over that mask. So next we're going to move on to the coloring of the images themselves. I am taking my colorless blender here just to quickly go over that snow area to kind of and make it more of a seamless blend so I don't see those flick lines of that C1. I can remove my masks now because I am not doing my background. Next, we're going to go on to the actual images themselves. I'm going to start off with the fence, and I'm going to go right in with my darkest color. These are pretty small areas, so I'm just going to add some shading off to the left-hand side. All I'm really doing is outlining this each individual fence post. Now, there's some posts that go horizontally as well, and I'm just adding one single line. You can see my markers straight up and down. That way I can get into those tiny areas, and I'm just adding a little bit of shading off to the left-hand side for that as well. Next, I'm going to bring in my E57, and I'm just going to extend these areas out a little bit further. Now, the posts that go horizontally, I'm only adding the E57 in the ones that are a little bit bigger because, I mean, these areas are tiny. So I know that I'm not going to fit 3 colors here. So for the smaller ones, I'm only going to use my darkest and my lightest. That way, they're not going to blend perfectly, but I'll still see the contrast, and they're so tiny that you're not going to notice if you get the perfect blend. So I'm going to finish up with the E55 and just blend all of these areas out, including the horizontal and the vertical posts. And here's where I had to bring out some of those B90 markers again to fix up some of those areas that I had missed for the sky. So for the light post, I'm going to do this pretty similar, only I'm going to switch over to some C markers, and I'm going to be using the darker ones here, using my C7, and I'm just going to add some shading on either side of the post and each little section of the post. Now for that long post itself, right there in the center, again, I'm only going to use 2 colors because I know I can't fit 3, but I want to have the contrast. So normally I'd go from a C7 to a C5. I'm going to skip the C5 and go to the C3. C3 and C7 are not going to blend. They're too far off on the spectrum, but it's going to give you the dimension and the contrast so that this post actually looks round. Next, we're going to move on to the coloring of the cats themselves, and I'm going to start off with this one that's standing on the box here, and I'm going to bring out some warm gray markers. He obviously, you can see by the image itself, he is a tabby cat, which I own 2 of them, so I'm going to color them similar to the way my cats look. So I'm going to start off with the W3 and the W1 just to add a little bit of shading to most of his body there. And then I'm going to bring out the W7, which is super dark. And I'm just going to kind of go over his little stripes to make it kind of so that they're not straight lines and he looks more like a tabby cat. For the inside of his mouth, I'm also going to use the W7 as well. And now for this next cat, he is not a tabby cat. He has some spots on him. So I'm going to make him a black and white cat. And I'm going to be bringing out some C markers this time. And again, I'm going to use the C7, which is super dark, for the black spots. Now, he only has that one on his body, but I'm going to create my own on the other side as well. The thing about using such dark colors, you can kind of create your own pattern, especially when it comes to animals and cats and things like that. So I'm going to add a few more spots to him than the image actually has. So I'm going to use the C7, C5, and C3 for the black areas. And for the white areas, I'm going to use the C3, C1, and then again, go in with that colorless blender to kind of get rid of those flick lines to make it more of a seamless blend from the C1 to that white paper. Now he has white paws, or I'm going to make him have white paws. So I'm also adding a little tiny bit of shading to those as well. Next, I'm going to color the box that this other little cat is standing on, and I'm going to use the same colors as I did for the fence. So I'm going to bring in the E59, and I'm again just going to add some shading off to the left-hand side. And also, there's kind of like boards on this, I guess you could call it. And I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow underneath each one of the boards just to kind of differentiate between the boards that make up the box, just to give a little bit extra contrast. But I'm using the same three colors and just sticking to the right hand side light source. So next we are going to go ahead and move on to the little flame here that's inside the light post. I'm using a red, an orange, and a yellow. And if you notice that the last number of the ones that I use are either the same or maybe one off, and that's how you'll know they blend well together, even though they're part of different color families. So next we're going to move on to their little hats and boots. I'm going to start off with my greens here, and I'm just adding a little bit of shading again to the left-hand side and adding one little flick. And this will kind of give the illusion that the hat is bent and creased. I am also going to add some color to some of the lights that are wrapped around the light post, and I'm just taking one of the greens, doesn't really matter which one it is. And I'm also going to color the little frame, I guess you could call it, of the sign that is on this box with this same green combination. Again, just making sure that I stick to the left-hand side being the darkest. Next, I'm going to bring in my favorite gold-ish yellow combination, and I'm going to go right in with the E99, which is the darkest color for the middle portion of the sign. Blend that out with the Y26 and then the Y23. I'm going to use the same color combination for this little star that is on this one cat's hat, and again, just using that mid-tone color for some of the lights that are wrapped around the light post. Finally, I'm going to bring in my reds, which I like to save to last. Here's the only time that I actually used a 4-color combination, just because I feel that reds can be a little bit difficult sometimes, and this is my favorite red combination, and I find that using all 4 colors, you really get the contrast. If you skip one, either you're not going to get a good blend or you're just not going to get contrast. So I'm going to color this little cat's boots with this red combination, as well as the hat of this other cat with that same combination. Again, just adding that little flick line to make it look as if the hat is bent, and then color the rest of the lights with that R24. Now, for the inside or their little the inside of their ears and their noses, I'm bringing in an R20. And then I went to color their little tongues, and I totally went out of the line on this one cat that's standing on the box. Probably the simplest coloring I've done in years is just that one little dot, and I went out of the lines. So I just took that W1 to kind of take that away. I'm kind of using it as a colorless blender. And the more I looked at this cat, he just didn't have enough contrast. So I'm bringing in the W5, and then I'm bringing back in the W3 and W1 to kind of blend that out. And I liked that much, much better. So next I am going to, now that the coloring is all complete, I'm going to kind of frame in my scene now. Now, you can see that I had some areas that did bleed through that Post-it note tape. So originally, I was going to use my white gel pen and bring back out my T-square ruler to kind of just go over those lines so that they look more like a crisp line where my scene begins and ends. And it just didn't work. there was just still some areas that looked like it was bleeding through, and my gel pen is just about out of ink. I've been making a ton of Christmas cards, and it seems like all of my supplies are diminishing very quickly. So what I ended up doing is I brought in an EK Success journaling pen, which is a Copic safe pen. And I'm going to bring back out my T-square ruler and just frame in my scene with a black line rather than having a white line there. I also added some snow to the background with that white gel pen. Now you can use this Copic safe pen, or pretty much any Copic safe pen, directly over white gel pen areas. You just want to make sure that the white gel pen is completely dry before you do this. So once that was all framed in, I am going to go ahead and finish off the card with one of the sentiments from the stamp set. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this out with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink directly above my little scene. And I also added some of the little music notes that are also part of the stamp set, as if that is coming from that cat that is standing on the box. And then added just a little bit of shimmer to the light post, or where the light is, the flame, I guess you could say, as well as the snow with a Nuvo Aqua Shimmer pen. And that is it. That is the card for today, guys. I will list all of the supplies listed in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today, and have a great day. Bye.